Hey there, Yellow Jacket fans. I'm Andy Demetra. Welcome into episode 2 of the Hell of a Podcast with Ryan Alpert, our monthly tap-in with your Georgia Tech Director of Athletics, where we dive a little more into the topics around Yellow Jacket athletics. Ryan, welcome back to the Hell of a Podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, and happy homecoming. You know, you already know homecoming is going to be festive, lively, but when your team is 7-0 and number 7 in the country, even more so. And also, just good to visit with you again. Episode 2 of the podcast, same number of losses for Georgia Tech football as we had for episode number 1. That's always a great place to start.
Yeah, that is a great place to start. We'd like to keep that tradition going, undefeated. But no, coming into homecoming, my phone has been blowing up this week of fans coming in, our alums coming in. And the one thing, the message I keep hearing is I've got to attend the Mini 500.
Yes.
Looking forward to being a part of it and being out there and cheering on our students.
They might put you behind the wheel of a tricycle. You never know.
That's a
Just make sure your daughters don't go because, that might really change things up in the neighborhood if they get their first glimpse of a Mini 500.
Yeah, I think they could get out there and win it. I think I could get hurt doing something like that.
And, of course, you got the cake race for the freshmen at 6 a.m. I'm sure your alarm goes off well before 6 a.m., so you could probably make that as well.
Yeah, as a freshman, right, I should have my rat cap on and be out there celebrating with them as well.
Freshman athletic director. Then, of course, you got the rec parade, and all leads up to the homecoming football game versus Syracuse. And it's cool, too, because it's also the 10th anniversary of the Miracle on Techwood Drive. Doesn't matter if you were here at Georgia Tech or not, you probably all remember where you were when you saw that block field goal by Patrick Gamble and then the return by the Austins into the end zone for what was such a scintillating moment. We saw the 1990 National Championship reunion before the Virginia Tech game. Cool to see so many people come out to celebrate another team that etched its name into Georgia Tech lore. Yeah,
we talk a lot about we want to honor our past and modernize for the future. And whether it's the Techwood Miracle, the 90s team coming back, and I think we had over 90 players come back. But you get to see the fans celebrate those moments, and that's what makes sports so unique. And we'll go back in time with the Clemson win of this year, and as we continue to make history, is having the fans and the players come together on homecoming weekend to have these special moments. That's what makes it all incredible to do it together.
Homecoming is about tradition, and you're excited to roll out what you hope will become a new tradition on game day at Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field. And that's the debut of the Hometown Hero. Explain what this initiative is and what Georgia Tech fans can expect to see beginning Saturday.
Yeah, we're trying to always modernize our fan experience, and part of that's, again, honoring our past and looking towards the future. And so there's so many people that are heroes in our community, whether they've been in the military, police, teachers. And so it's important for us that we continue to take our alums, honor those that have given back, and it's something we can all rally behind. So we're going to start doing this once a month at home contests and then continue on into the future. And it's a great opportunity for people to have ticket deals, donate tickets to our local heroes, and then give us an opportunity to honor them at our games.
Our first hometown hero is U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Mark Massaro. I'm a broadcaster. I love bios and I love stats. So here you go. Georgia Tech alumnus. He's the commander of Air Force Material Command for Elgin Air Force Base in Florida. 100-plus combat hours in the F-16. Yeah, I'd say that's probably fitting of a hometown hero representing Georgia Tech.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to get in the future is some more flyovers, and maybe he can be our hometown hero and maybe get back in the cockpit and do a flyover one day.
I'm sure he would not mind RSVPing. And also, you can nominate a hometown hero. Just go to RamblingWreck.com. Tickets are still available for Saturday, but they are going fast. They got a family pack special, 4 tickets, up to 20% off. Now, remember, changes to traffic patterns due to homecoming events. Unfortunately, Georgia Tech fans have kind of gotten used to some traffic challenges on game day, but just make sure that you prepare that into your itinerary for game day.
Yeah, we do a great job. Our external team always puts out, information. If we get information related to GDOT, whether, they've been paving for the upcoming World Cup, but with homecoming, there will be some different traffic patterns. So please check your email. We'll send some push notifications out. Our team does a nice job being able to communicate in advance of what to expect. Because again, I talk about that experience from driveway to driveway. As you leave your driveway, come to our game, concessions, restrooms, in-game. Brent's doing a great job keeping us undefeated out there, and the students have been, impactful. But then how you get out of the garages and your parking spot back home that entire game day experience is important to us.
Or just show up for the cake race.
That's
at
right,
6 a.m. You can bypass that traffic
Yeah,
altogether.
no traffic at all if you're at the cake race.
One other incentive to get here early for a homecoming Saturday versus Syracuse. Now, you will look to continue a 9-game home win streak, which is the longest home win streak for Georgia Tech football since that run from 1989 to 1991. When you're 7-0, number 7 in the country, these seats will fill up fast. Attendance, can you give us a number of what the increase has been this year for Georgia Tech compared to last season?
Yeah, over last season, we're about 25% up year over year. And when, my expectation here on Saturday will be over 50,000 again. And so we'll continue to see that growth year over year. And again, our fans and students and community members have done a tremendous job rallying behind this team and what Coach Key and the guys are putting in at practice every day, and then they're performing in game. It's great to see the fan base react to in a really positive way. And so being 7-0, we're undefeated, dating back to last year at home, now this year at home. We're creating a true home field advantage, and I think you heard our players talk about it last week and for the last couple of weeks in post-game medias. They feel it, they hear it. It's impacting the team on third down. So I even think we've done some great messaging on offense of keeping it quiet. You got to get the signals in on offense, and then you want to create just unleash a tough environment for the team when they're on offense and our defense is out there. And I think it has really created one of the best home field advantages in all of college sports.
Yeah, I love the video board graphic of Haynes King with the books behind him like he's in Price Gilbert Memorial Library, shushing everybody, quiet offense at work. Make sure you follow those orders on Saturday as well. The spotlight has only grown and increased for Georgia Tech football as this fall has gone on, and as an athletic director, success like this can have such a perpetuating effect for the brand of not just Georgia Tech football, but Georgia Tech athletics, Georgia Tech as an institute. Can you give us some numbers and share some insight into how Georgia Tech's season has just risen everybody around the institute when it comes to the impressions and the attention around Georgia Tech?
Yeah, we're really trying to. I love data, and I know our fans do, and so we're trying to be as analytical as we can. As you look at first the ACC, this is the first year where viewership impacts our revenue share coming from the league. And last year when we had some tremendous one-time games, whether it was the Ireland game, the 8 overtime game against Georgia, where viewership was just astronomically high. What the trend lines I'd like to see this year is we've been 2, 3, 4 million for every game we've played, and so the eyeballs on Tech is at a really high level. And then the integration of watching website traffic, not for the athletics website, but for the institute's website, and seeing traffic 3, 4, 5x what a normal day traffic is on game days. And then when you start thinking about the media impressions, the engagement we're seeing on social media. So winning not only just impacts on the field and the things that we're doing in the field and for our teams, but it really impacts the overall institute. I know I spoke to the foundation staff meeting the other day and talking to the president. Even when he's walking into fundraising meetings or meetings on campus that have nothing to do with athletics, morale is high.
Yeah.
Everybody's energy is high, and that's the best part. And he started it 6 years ago when the president talked about why athletics is so important to building an institute that not only has academic success but athletic success. And now we're seeing we can actually be and achieve greatness in both. And I think the fruits of his labor and the seeds that he planted are really starting to prosper and grow, and that's why we have to continue to lean into what athletics can do for the overall institute.
Yeah, this success echoes up the hill. Here's another number. Game day traffic to gatech.edu up 10 to 25%
Oh, see, I said
on
5.
game
It's 10
day.
to 20%.
Yeah, there you go. And then add equivalency value, $55 million. Explain to everybody, add equivalency value, what that means, how big it's been for Tech.
Yeah, so when our games are on television, if we went out and said, okay, we're not going to have the football game on, we're going to go and buy, from a marketing standpoint, the same exposure value that the football game gave us. That would be if we had to go hit the open market and buy that window of time in which we play on Saturday, along with the commercials that play during the game. That's what we'd have to. That's we'd have to go to a TV broker and buy that advertising space. So that's free advertising for the Institute, talking about great moments in history. You hear the commentators not only talking about the game, but talking about the city and the exposure value. And that again is where those crossroads can happen of how athletics can put the Institute on a great platform.
And just think about our listenership. on the Hell of a Podcast.
That's right.
When you have success like this. Yeah, not just everybody else. We get to enjoy some of that, the benefits of that as well. All right, Ryan, by the time we're recording this podcast next month, the College Football Playoff Committee will be deep in deliberations, and certainly by the time we record episode number 3 of the Hell of a Podcast, Georgia Tech will still be undefeated. But as we stand right now, you're hearing Georgia Tech's name come up in various projections. I know that's the farthest thing from Brent Key and the players' minds, but as athletic director, what would be your elevator pitch right now to that College Football Playoff Committee?
Well, before I get into my elevator speech, I do want to talk about how we can grow our listenership and our viewership on our podcast.
I'm all ears.
I think that the suit that you wore to our past home or our past road game, I think if maybe next podcast you wore that suit, I think we could really get an increased viewership there.
I'll try to post a picture of it if I have one, and maybe we'll let Georgia Tech fans decide.
Yeah, I think so. No, but the elevator pitch on the CFP is, well, first and foremost, we're in, right? Like, we're ranked number 7th in the country. We're 7-0. We've won. There's 6 teams, including ourselves, that are undefeated. So at the end of the day, if we continue to win the games that are in front of us, there is no question. At this rate, if we can continue to win, we're talking about a CFP bye, and well, first comes the ACC championship and moving forward through that pathway. But no, I think we have a really tough schedule. We played Colorado, so P4 opponent.
Yeah.
Obviously Georgia.
Aren't too many teams in the discussion right now who have a road win in non-conference over a Power 4 opponent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got a road win. We played 2 P4 non-conference games plus 8 league games. And so from a schedule standpoint, everything that we want to accomplish is in front of us. And as you know, Coach Key's mentality is 1-0. But for me, we're looking at the broad spectrum. But at the end of the day, we control our own destiny, and as long as we continue to go 1-0 every week. But what this team has done, and we really aggressively scheduled to put ourselves in position, and that's what we talk about all the time when it comes to football scheduling and what we're doing. We want access to the postseason, and what we're doing right now on the field gives us the best potential access into the highest level postseason in college football, and that's the CFP.
There are some narratives you sometimes have to fight from college football analysts at large about the ACC, its perceived strength, and this and that, but you truly believe that the non-conference performance of Georgia Tech is going to be a big differentiator. ESPN has Georgia Tech right now number 7 in its strength of record metrics. All the numbers suggest that Georgia Tech's record is not built on smoke and mirrors, that they're every bit deserving of where they are right now. Yeah,
absolutely. I think everything we've done on the field, how we've scheduled, and how we've performed in the ACC and outside of the ACC in our non-conference play, and certainly with a huge opportunity on the back end of the schedule against Georgia. I mean, playing the best football in the country right now, and with us and others, that every game we have gives us an opportunity to go out and perform and show who we are as a team.
Well, some pretty significant news, Ryan, since our first Hell of a Podcast, and that was the announcement that come summer of 2026, Under Armour will be the new apparel partner of Georgia Tech Athletics. I know that negotiations were already underway, one to assume the athletic director's post here, but having consummated this deal now with Under Armour, what makes them a good fit for Georgia Tech, the brand, and then Georgia Tech, the vision for this athletics department?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to what I said earlier about how we honor our past but modernize for the future. And you think about Tom, who our head of equipment, and Kevin Plank, and the story that they had together. So any way that you can find crossroads between brand association and how you're building your athletic department. And so we have history with Under Armour. We were actually their first order.
Yeah.
And Kevin put out an awesome video about what Georgia Tech means to him and what it has meant to the company. So I think that we matter. And I think anytime we're going to have a partnership, and whether that's our apparel partner, our multimedia rights partner, our ticketing partner, whoever we're going to do business with, I think it's really important that they want to do business with us. And it was very clear, I think, and as you mentioned, the deal was somewhat in place when I got here, but it was very clear when I was able to analyze the deal structure and the deal points that Under Armour saw and believes in who Georgia Tech is today, without question. But the thing that I valued the most is they are really investing in who we can be and where we're going as a program. And clearly that deal was done, some months ago, and look how we're starting to perform now. And Under Armour wants to be in the Atlanta-based community. They want to lean in not only to the athletic space, but the innovation of what we have at the Institute, and continuing to find ways that they can modernize their product. Can we be a place where maybe we're a test center? Our athletes can be a test center for them moving forward. They understand the NIL space. They understand what it takes to have a winning program. And so they're leaning in to every advantage that we can have to getting our players faster, stronger, back on the field, having the best products that can help us go out and win, but then also understanding that the revenue share and NIL piece is critically important. So, I'm thrilled about the partnership. I'm looking forward to what we can accomplish together.
There is going to be a significant revenue lift with Under Armour and this upcoming deal, but also as part of this apparel agreement, there's also significant investment from Under Armour to Georgia Tech in the NIL space. Sort of a new avenue now in these apparel deals. Can you speak more on how Under Armour is prioritizing Georgia Tech student athletes when it comes to NIL and beyond with this deal?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've already reached out to some of our athletes during the launch process, and they reached out, and the student athlete has to agree to that deal and has to turn it into to CSC, and so we've already had 10 deals come together from Under Armour. But whether it's Under Armour or the other apparel partners out there, they have been in the grassroots marketing for some time. That's what they have. That's what they do. They create apparel. They're building their brand, and so there's no better time, I think, than apparel partners, and what our Under Armour is doing is to associate their brand with. I mean, our student athletes are influencers, and so they're utilizing the platform in which our young people have, trying to reach the young marketplace and utilizing that. And so, innovation and is what Under Armour is built on, and that's who we are. And so, they're committed to figuring out ways that they can help us be successful as a program, and certainly NIL is one of those areas right now.
And student athletes, like you mentioned, having a hands-on involvement in Under Armour's design processes. This, I'm sure, is what a apparel deal will look like in college athletics moving forward, and Georgia Tech can be on the front edge of the curve with that.
Yeah, I think, and specifically with who we are as a program, as from the Institute standpoint, we have the best problem solvers, designers in the world sitting here on campus. And so as you look to how Under Armour wants to modernize and test their products, and that's what, all the apparel companies are always trying to find that leading edge, just like our coaches are always trying to find that winning edge. And so to be able to have their innovation team want to lean into who the Institute is, and again, I'll get back to how we can, come together as an athletic department and institute and build this together, a partner that sees the Institute just as valuable as the athletic side. And that was critically important to me as we evaluated the deal points and saw that as, they want to be a part of the Institute, and that was important.
And athletic director has his priorities when it comes to an apparel contract, but we know the priorities for fans. Can we get more retail offerings with our apparel deal? And Under Armour very committed to that aspect of it. Can you speak to Georgia Tech fans about Under Armour's commitment to offering more retail options so that Georgia Tech fans can be rocking that Under Armour in the white and gold?
Yeah, it's who we are going to be as a leadership team. I think I try and listen to our fans as much as we can, and I think some clear sentiments from the fan base is we want more team-worn apparel in the stores. We want more gold, we want more white, and we want that to be, at a place where we can buy it. And so for me, that's brand association. And I want, when you're walking through a hotel in another city or walking through an airport or on vacation, where somebody's rocking the GT and somebody says, sting 'em, go Jackets. And that's why we need our apparel provider to want to put their stuff, the stuff that Coach Key's wearing, the stuff that, Damon's wearing, and James, like everything that our coaches and players are wearing, we want our fans to be able to purchase it. And we're also going to be trying to work further out with our uniform designs and being able to have apparel in the stores that will be what our teams are wearing, and be able to launch that earlier in the year so people can associate and get into all of our stores, buy stuff online, and have the stuff that our team's wearing. And Under Armour has committed to us that they want to be able to produce it, mass produce it, and have it in the stores early.
Here you go. Coming summer 2026, we must protect this house, right?
That's right.
Georgia Tech has done a pretty good job already. They're getting a jump start on the messaging from Under Armour here at Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field. All right, Ryan, let's go around the rest of the fall sports that are in progress. In volleyball at home Friday versus Cal. Saturday, big ACC network matchup against Stanford. Very challenging early season schedule for what's still a very young team for 𝙃𝙀𝙇𝙇𝙐𝘼, but starting to pay dividends as we saw last weekend going on the road and getting a pair of sweeps.
Yeah, I think what we talked about earlier, and I think she scheduled maybe the hardest non-conference schedule, and then you get into the ACC, I think the best volleyball conference in the country. And so we took some lumps early with a young team, and volleyball is such a connected sport. We've won 3 out of the last 4 and really starting to play well as a team. And Michelle's got this group, I think, again, really connected and understanding what it takes to win and doing a great job.
Yeah, top 5 showdown with the Stanford Cardinal. Get your tickets to O'Keefe Gymnasium. And then also golf's only home tournament of the fall season is this weekend up at the Golf Club of Georgia in Alpharetta. But this is one of the top tournaments in the nation this week, and it's being hosted by Tech.
Yeah, no, Bruce and company. Whether we're playing on the road, it seems like we are playing the top 10 of every week. We're in the top 10 teams of who we're playing against and with, and now we're bringing that same field here to the Golf Club of Georgia and to come out and show out at our home course and in front of our fans would be great.
Cross country already has a couple of wins this fall. ACC championships are next week in Louisville. Swimming already has a couple of early seasons wins. Very cool dual meet tournament that they hosted last weekend, Friday and Saturday at Macaulay Aquatic Center. I don't think people realize that format had never been done before in college swimming.
Yeah, never been done before. Again, we're always looking to innovate, and I think our program is we're always trying to lead the way, and I thought it was an innovative way to bring teams together.
And also you have their alumni meet Saturday morning, and then basketball right around the corner by the time we record our next hell of a podcast. Both Karen Blair and the Georgia Tech women, Damon Stoudemire and the Tech men, will be well into their non-conference schedule. I know you've swung by practice several times. What has you excited about the talent these teams possess that soon Georgia Tech fans will see in McCamish?
Yeah, I think it's their style of play. I think both programs and coaches have been working on pushing the ball up the court, really trying to get the ball and put some pressure on teams with number of possessions. And on the men's side, I think our interior play has been, for me coming in, I'm really excited to see the interior play and playing through our bigs, which then opens up the guard play as well. And so excited to see that progression. And Karen in her first season, I think instilling the culture, style of play in which she wants to move the ball up the court quickly, and then letting her players play. It's fun to see her coach, but then she really wants to get the kids to make their own decisions with the ball in their hand, and it's fun. It's been fun to see the progression from a couple weeks ago as we get closer to the season and how that team's coming together, and look for them to have a great season. A
lot of ticket options still available at RamblinWreck.com. We discussed this in one of our pregame radio interviews, but you're sensing so much momentum around Georgia Tech athletics. Keep pushing that momentum forward into the next sports, into basketball, into some of the other sports that are already deeper into their season, like volleyball, because it's just amazing the kind of inertia that you can generate with, say, the success of football that can spread to so many other sports and teams on campus. And really, it's just a tremendous opportunity for Georgia Tech fans to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, you're right. Go to RamblinWreck.com, buy your tickets. But yeah, the culture within an athletic department, same within a team, is our student athletes really start to support one another. That's one of the best things that I've seen, whether it's been at a volleyball match or at a football game, and really some of the early season competitions, is the amount of student athletes that are not participating or not playing in that game that day that are out to support one another. So that speaks to the culture. Each team's going to have their own culture within, but our student athlete culture as a whole is fantastic, and they're out supporting. And I think our fans see that. They love to see each other out supporting, and as we win and build a winning culture, everybody's really competitive. So when people see the football team win, they take pride in the football team winning, but then they also want to win themselves. And the more competition we can create, not only against our ACC peers and our national peers, but internally, a healthy competition it can go a long way.
Speaking of sports, you play any intramurals when you were an undergrad? play intramural basketball at all?
I did not, but I do like to play basketball.
I bet you do. You and Damon?
Ooh.
How about this? 2-on-2, but Damon can be your point guard.
So Damon, when I was at Memphis, Damon was an assistant basketball coach at Memphis, and I walked into the practice gym one day, and there was a point guard. He was trying. It was a young guy, and he was trying to teach him a couple things, and he played for 5 minutes in a little bit of a scrimmage, and I don't think he missed a shot, and he was pulling up for 4, 5, 6 feet behind the three-point line. So I did not play pickup basketball, and I would not play Damon 𝙃𝙀𝘍𝘼. No chance.
No, not even right now. Damon 𝙃𝙀𝘍. He can still get buckets, and I know his team looks forward to doing that as well. But first off, let's take care of business this Saturday at Homecoming versus Syracuse, 12 o'clock, Tonlease Leather. Folks, we'll see you here. It's been such a great atmosphere at Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field. Can't wait for that to continue, and we can't wait to do this all again on episode number 3 of the Hell of a Podcast. Ryan, we appreciate this. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, and go Jackets.
Remember, like, listen, subscribe, sting 'em. We'll talk to you next time on the Hell of a Podcast.